What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Lsuuuval. This will be the first episode completely devoted to the reigning, defending, undisputed 2019 college football national champion LSU Fighting Tigers. So, big news today. Kary Vincent, defensive back for the Tigers, has opted out of the 2020 season. It's understandable. It's a bummer. We won't get to see him play another game in the purple and gold. He was second on the team last year at interceptions. Was a huge part of that national championship defense. But he's doing what's best for him, so you can't blame him there. It's a bummer that we won't get to see him play another game for the Tigers, but we wish him well, and we'll always be rooting for him as he goes on to have a long NFL career. So, the schedule came out today. Our 10 games in conference in the SEC have all been finalized. And I don't know about you, but I am incredibly excited to get this going. There's been so much doom and gloom around college football the past few weeks with entire conferences opting out. But now we know for sure, at least we hope that it stays this way, that LSU and the SEC are full force ahead. The 10-game schedule has come out, and we're going to run through it. And if you're an LSU fan, you could not be any happier with the way it begins. It gets tougher towards the end, but you couldn't be any happier with the way it starts out. LSU will start their season on September 26th at home against Mississippi State. So the Bulldogs are kind of an up-and-down team. They'll have a new quarterback. So LSU, obviously. Shout out to Joey B. Can't wait to see him in Cincinnati this year. So starting out with Mississippi State. And then we're at Vandy on October the 3rd, and we're home against Missouri on October the 10th. If you're an LSU fan, you've got to be pretty happy about those first 3 weeks. Mississippi State is always going to play their toughest against LSU. Like I said, they're an up-and-down team. You never know who you're going to get. But then you get Vandy and Mizzou back-to-back. So LSU should absolutely be 3-0 heading into Week 4, October the 17th, in the Swamp against the Florida Gators. Florida should be a dang good football team this year. They always are, but this year they have a chance to be really special. We will see, what kind of environment the Tigers are heading into. Usually the Swamp is incredibly tough, but are there going to be fans there? And if so, how many? It may not be the Swamp of old, but it's still going to be an incredibly tough game. Then we're back home on the 24th of October against South Carolina, another game that the LSU fans should feel pretty good about. Coach O and his staff should be looking definitely at being, at worst, 4-1 after the South Carolina game. Then we're at Auburn on the 31st, on Halloween. So Auburn, another very tough place to play. Jordan-Hare Stadium is obviously a tough venue. I've been there myself watching LSU play. It is not an easy place to go into, especially last year. That was LSU's really tightest game. So Auburn's going to be looking for some retribution. Quarterback Bo Nix, the SEC Freshman of the Year, Garrett simply got robbed. You would expect him to take a step this year and have another really good season. So a tough one for the Tigers, but luckily a bye week follows it on November the 7th. So LSU will play 6 straight and then get a week off before the Alabama Crimson Tide come to town on November the 14th. Last year's Alabama game, as you guys remember, was incredible. Joe Burrow played such an incredible game, and even more than that, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that was kind of his coming out party as one of the best, if not the best, running back in college football last year. So always a huge game. Alabama's going to be looking for some retribution, but they do have to come into Tiger Stadium. But like I said, with Florida, what kind of Tiger Stadium is it going to be? Will there be fans? And if there is, how many? It's not going to be probably the same environment it has been. But they still have to make that trip. November the 21st, we head to Arkansas, another team that is LSU should be looking forward to playing. Arkansas is not a good football team. They got hit pretty hard with the 2 extra conference opponents, adding Florida and Georgia. Arkansas has been rebuilding now for a while. They're not very good. LSU, if they take them seriously, don't have a letdown after Bama, should easily take care of the Razorbacks, even on the road. And then we're on the road again on November 28th at Texas A&M. This has become kind of a big game the last few years. Not a traditional rival for the Tigers, but ever since their entrance into the SEC, I feel like things have gotten more and more heated, especially with the hiring of Jimbo Fisher in the last few years. We all remember what happened 2 years ago in that crazy basketball score game where the game should have ended 12 times, went to multiple overtimes, and LSU fell short. Nobody could cover Rogers, the receiver from Texas A&M. And then last year, we put a whooping on A&M when they came into Death Valley. So, it was another conference win for us last year, winning big over Texas A&M. Texas A&M looked at 2 years ago like a Super Bowl. They put it on cups, just a conference win, and looked at it like it was their end-all, be-all. So that should kind of show you how both schools look at each other. However, LSU is going to take that game seriously. A&M has become a rival, and look for us to go in to College Station looking for some retribution on their turf. And then we finish the regular season on the 5th of December at home against the Ole Miss Rebels. Everybody remembers what happened last year. We were up big on Ole Miss just before the half. Second half, they came out. Their quarterback was running all over our defense in the second half. Made it look a lot closer than it was. He's back. It should be a challenge again to contain him. But, Bo Pelini and his defense, I think, are up to the task. We've seen how successful Bo Pelini is as a defensive coordinator, at LSU. And now that he's back, you'd expect more of the same. So Bo Pelini's defense will surely be ready after watching the film from last year of what happened against Ole Miss with their running quarterback. It's easy to say that the first 3 weeks for the Tigers are what you'd want, and it is, but it's the SEC. It's one of the toughest schedules you'll see in the country, playing Florida, going to Florida, going to Auburn, going to A&M, playing Alabama. Year in, year out, one of the toughest schedules in the country. I wanted that game against Texas back. I wanted them to have to come to us and, get a whooping on our field, put their band in Alex box and see if we can hear them. But we'll get that down the road. I'm sure Coach Ogeron and LSU will get that figured out, and we'll reschedule that game, and we will get a chance to host the Texas Longhorns in the future. I'm bummed as a Louisiana football fan that we don't get to play our in-state opponent this year, but I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities down the road to make that up. In-state schools, I'm sure, are always looking for an opportunity to come play in Tiger Stadium, get a little bit of a payday, and it's always awesome to have two in-state schools face off against each other. So let me know what you guys think of the schedule. Be sure to subscribe and like and follow along on Twitter and here on YouTube. I'm really excited to now be tackling some LSU football news. It's been my passion for a while. The Jaguars news is going to keep coming. It's just going to be a dual channel now that I'm really excited about. So please continue to check out the videos. I appreciate you guys' support. Take care and God bless.